In the silent, frozen depths of space, our world is a sapphire beacon, a blue marble. This color is no accident. It is the signature of the substance that defines us. It is the story of a simple molecule, two parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, that became the architect of life, the sculptor of continents, and the keeper of our climate. But water is more than a physical substance. It is the wellspring of our deepest myths. The centerpiece of our sacred rituals and a universal symbol of the spiritual journey. This is the epic of water. A song that began with the birth of our solar system, that pulses through every living thing, and that has quenched the spiritual thirst of humanity since the dawn of consciousness. The story of Earth's water begins not in its oceans, but in the cold, dark voids between stars. 4.5 billion years ago, our world was a hellscape of molten rock, bombarded by the debris of a violent solar system. For millions of years, a celestial rain fell upon this inferno. Icy comets, remnants from the system's outer edges, and water-rich asteroids, known as carbonaceous chondrites, pounded the young Earth. This epic delivery service, a bombardment of cosmic ice and rock, gifted our planet its most precious resource. The water we drink today is alien in origin, a legacy from the frigid building blocks of our solar system. Some of it is even older than the sun itself, a preserved relic from the ancient molecular cloud that gave our star its birth. What makes this molecule so unbelievably special? Its deceptively simple structure holds miraculous properties. The water molecule is polar, meaning it has a slight positive charge on one end and a negative on the other. This makes it incredibly social. Molecules of water stick to each other through hydrogen bonds, creating a collective strength. This is surface tension, a force that allows a water strider to skate on a pond, that pulls water up from the roots of a giant redwood to its highest leaves against the force of gravity. Water is the universal solvent, able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid, making it the perfect bloodstream for the planet, carrying nutrients, minerals, and the very ingredients of life wherever it flows. And in a stunning defiance of physics, water expands when it freezes. If it didn't, ice would sink. Lakes and oceans would freeze solid from the bottom up. and life as we know it may never have begun. Water is a shapeshifter, an eternal traveler on a journey without end. Driven by the sun's energy, it evaporates from the vast oceans, rising invisibly into the sky. There, it condenses around tiny dust particles, forming the billions of water droplets that become clouds. Winds carry these atmospheric rivers across the globe until the conditions are right, and the water returns to the earth as rain, snow, or hail. It quenches the thirst of forests, seeps into aquifers that are ancient underground libraries of climate history, carves canyons over millennia, and eventually finds its way back to the sea. This is the great hydrological cycle. The same water that once filled the basins of prehistoric seas, that fell as rain on the first dinosaurs, flows through our taps today. The total amount of water on Earth is constant. We are drinking the very same water that has always been here. It was in this primordial soup, this warm, nutrient-rich water, that the impossible happened. The first sparks of life flickered into existence. Whether at deep-sea hydrothermal vents, where mineral-rich water provided energy and chemistry, or in shallow sunlit pools, water was the essential cradle. It provided the stable medium for the first complex molecules to form, to interact, and eventually to replicate. The evolution of photosynthesis in ancient cyanobacteria was a revolution powered by water. A process that began filling the atmosphere with oxygen, forever changing the destiny of the planet. Every living creature that has ever existed, from the smallest microbe to the largest whale, carries an internal ocean within it. The salt concentration in our blood is a direct echo of the ancient seas from which our ancestors emerged. Long before science could explain its properties, humanity sensed the divine in water. In the creation myths of countless cultures, water is the primordial chaos from which order emerges. In the ancient Babylonian epic of creation, the world is born from the clash between the fresh water god Apsu and the salt water goddess Tiamat. In the Hindu scriptures, the universe is born from the cosmic waters, upon which Vishnu sleeps, and from his navel grows a lotus from which Brahma, the creator, emerges. For the ancient Egyptians, the world began from the dark, endless waters of none. Water, in these stories, is not just an element. It is the formless, infinite potential that precedes all of existence. Water is not only present at the beginning, it is the central agent of purification and renewal. Across faiths, water cleanses more than just the body. It washes away sin and prepares the soul for a new beginning. In Christianity, the sacrament of baptism uses water to symbolize the washing away of original sin and spiritual rebirth into the faith. In Islam, the practice of wudu, the ritual washing with pure water before prayer, is a mandatory act of purification that prepares the believer to stand before God. In Hinduism, immersion in the sacred Ganges River is believed to purify one's karma and cleanse the soul of impurities. In Shinto, the Japanese tradition, the ritual of misogi involves washing the entire body under a waterfall to purify the spirit from moral impurity and misfortune. Human civilization is a story written along the banks of rivers. The Nile, the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus, the Yellow River. These were the cradles of humanity. They provided not just drinking water, but the means for agriculture, for transportation, for trade. To control water was to control destiny. The Romans built monumental aqueducts, marvels of engineering that defined their empire. The water will provided the first major source of mechanical power beyond human and animal muscle, fueling the earliest industries. Water has shaped our borders, started wars, inspired art, and been at the center of our spiritual rituals since the dawn of consciousness. Beyond formal religion, water holds a profound place in our collective psyche and spirituality. It is a universal metaphor for the subconscious mind, the deep, unknown realms of our being from which emotions and intuition surface. In dreams, water often represents the state of our emotional and spiritual life. Calm waters signify peace. Turbulent seas speak of inner turmoil, and stagnant water can symbolize spiritual decay. The quest for a sacred well, or the fountain of youth, is a spiritual allegory for the search for enlightenment, immortality, and the source of eternal life. The simple act of sitting by a still lake or listening to the rhythm of the ocean can induce a state of meditation. connecting us to a deep, primordial peace that transcends words. The wonders of water are endless. A geyser is a powerful testament to water's behavior under heat and pressure. A clockwork of subterranean forces. A single drop of seawater is a miniature universe. Teeming with millions of bacteria, viruses, and microscopic larvae. The ocean appears blue not because it reflects the sky, but because water molecules absorb the longer wavelengths of light. Reds, oranges, yellows, and scatter the shorter blue light. Giving our world its iconic hue. The sheer number of water molecules is staggering. There are more molecules in a single glass of water than there are glasses of water in all the oceans of the world. And the concept of water's memory. The idea that its molecular structure can be temporarily influenced by its environment. Remains a fascinating and controversial frontier of science, hinting at properties we are only beginning to comprehend. Despite water covering over 70% of the planet, only 2.5% is fresh, and 2/3 of that is locked away in glaciers and ice caps. We're standing on the brink of a global water crisis. Population growth, rampant pollution from industry and agriculture, and the escalating impacts of climate change are placing unprecedented strain on this finite resource. Major rivers are running dry before they reach the sea. Ancient aquifers, which took thousands of years to fill, are being pumped dry in mere decades. Glaciers, the frozen reservoirs for billions of people, are retreating at an alarming rate. Access to clean water, once considered a basic right, is becoming a primary source of conflict and a stark indicator of inequality around the world. The future of water is inextricably linked to our own. The challenges are immense, but so are the opportunities. Innovative solutions are emerging, from drip irrigation that conserves water in agriculture to revolutionary desalination technologies that can turn seawater into drinking water, to ancient practices of rainwater harvesting being revived for modern cities. Protecting our wetlands, which act as natural water filters, and reforesting watersheds are critical steps. The choices we make today in how we use, conserve, and value every drop, will echo for centuries to come. The story of water is our story. It is the thread that connects the Big Bang to a blooming flower, the comet's tail to the tear on a child's cheek. It is the physical reality that sustains our bodies and the spiritual symbol that nourishes our souls. From the cosmic chaos of creation myths to the sacred rituals of baptism and purification, water has always been the bridge between the mundane and the divine. The physical and the metaphysical. To protect water is not just an environmental or economic imperative. It is a spiritual duty. It is a commitment to the future, a promise that the ancient, life-giving song of water in all its physical wonder and sacred meaning will continue to flow, clear and strong, for all the generations to come. For in the end, we are not just on a planet of water. We are a planet of water, and its destiny is our own.